First and foremost, thank you for 100,000 subscribers. I'm up there with PewDiePie and all them boys. And Wallah Billah, I'm about to be the biggest anime YouTube channel. I'm about to be the biggest, and I mark my words, I'm about to be the biggest channel on anime YouTube. I'm not really competing with much because they're all a bunch of fat losers anyways, right? All fat, disgusting slobs. But enough about the narcissism. You've seen the title, right? I'm just gonna start by saying Z Bardock, right? Let's get into the movie, the episode of Bardock. I don't understand why they changed Bardock because he was perfect. Down to every minute detail, he was perfect. He was such a great character in that Z movie, right? We didn't really see that much of him, but the things we saw, he was a great character, in my opinion. We saw Bardock in Z, right? He was a savage. At the beginning, we see him with his crew. He starts terrorizing planet. Bardock was moving like a space Winston Churchill. He was colonizing the whole galaxy, blood. He was moving around, fighting to the brink of death. And even the guys, when he went into the healing chamber, they said, hey, he goes, fights to the brink of death, then he comes back and he goes immediately to the next assignment, right? He was a savage. We see him and his crew, they're colonizing that planet Kanasa, right? And one Somali-looking alien survives, and he gives Bardock that curse or blessing, whatever, like however you want to look at it, that you can see into the future attack, whatever, the power to see into the future, right? They come back, and Bardock's hibbity-bibbity, he starts getting schizophrenic attacks, and he starts hearing voices in his head. They talk to me, they understand. He thinks he's like Randy Orton, blood. He started hearing voices in his head. He started going schizo. At first, he was like, "Whoa, what is this?" He didn't even understand what it was, right? And he goes, he heals, and we see Frieza and that fat slob Dodoria and Zorba, right? They're talking about the Saiyans. They're getting too strong, so they plan on eradicating the Saiyans, right? Hibbity bibbity. So we see Bardock heal, and they send Bardock's crew to another planet, right? Bardock's crew goes to another planet. Bardock gets healed. He goes back to the planet to join his crew, right? He sees his son. Bardock, he says, hey, I'm not raising this bastard, because Bardock is an Albanian Saiyan, right? We don't raise our kids. None of that. He said, hey, this he looks at his son with the scouter. Pathetic. And then he goes on with his business, right? Real alpha. He's a deadbeat father. He goes and to his crew to fight, right? And then he finds his whole crew dead. Unfortunately, right? He sees his whole crew dead, and then he sees Frieza's elite crew, elite warriors. And they kill them off, and he's confused at first, and then they explain why. And then it happens. Bardock picks up the do-rag. He becomes a blood. He wears a red bandana. He starts gangbanging on Pyru. So whoop, where my blood is at. Throw the bees up, right? He starts boxing against the Crips, aka Frieza's elite soldiers, right? And I'm not gonna lie, Bardock's strength is really underrated, because in that movie or whatever special episode, like he kind of toyed with Frieza's special army, and he was getting schizophrenic attacks in his head, like he was seeing Vegeta and Goku fight in the future because of that Kanasan alien power he got, right? And he was still whooping them easily too. And then the Doria fat slob comes. He starts getting mad because Bardock ate his bucklet big bookie's blood. He ate all his chocolate chip cookies. So he started blasting. The Doria's dumb fat slob fat ass thought he finished him off, but he did not. And this is how you know Bardock is a real G, right? And first and foremost, RP to Bardock's crew. I forgot to say RP Shpetim, RP Bashkim, RP Chendresa, RP Kushrim, RP all the crew members, right? Whatever the fuck they were called. But RIP to them. And then Bardock is such a G. He could have easily just went, hey, let me go escape, right? Because the Doria thought he was dead. He goes immediately right back to Frieza to avenge his crew, right? And this is what I liked with Bardock, because he was like not a stereotypical Saiyan, but you could tell he really cared about his crew, right? And then he tells the Saiyans, he starts believing in the visions, because at first Sorry. At first he didn't believe in the visions and stuff, right? But then he started to believe in them and the voices and stuff. So he goes and tells all the Saiyans, "Hey, Frieza about to blow up the whole planet." But he did. They started laughing at him, and he said, "Fine, your funeral, right?" And this is how Bardock is our real G. He goes straight to Frieza, like this. This guy was on the brink of death once. He gets healed. He's on the brink of death twice. Like the whole chair was bloodied up. He could barely move. He could barely walk. And then he goes straight to another battle. Like this guy's alpha. He goes. Everyone is holding him. He goes straight through them. He goes straight to Frieza. And he says one of the coolest lines I've ever heard. He says, "Don't be scared, man. I'd rather die a free man than live as his slave," or something like that, right? I'm paraphrasing, but something along those lines. And then, yeah, it didn't really pan out that well because we all saw what happened. And yeah, Frieza, and not only that, the thing with Bardock, right? The thing I like with Bardock is I can't really tell if he's like he's obviously not a hero, but I can't really tell if he's an anti-hero or just a bad guy, because before he goes to Frieza, he says, "This for the people we killed in your name," right? So that shows remorse. He showed that he killed all them people. He did feel some form of remorse at least, right? But he can just be a product of his environment, because like Frieza, like what he did to the Saiyans, all of them were kind of cooked in the head, if you're being honest, right? Doesn't really make him a bad person necessarily. But that's why I thought he was a cool character in Z, right? And even the conversation he had with Goku when he saw that vision, "It's not too late, father, to be different than him." And then Bardock says, "Thank you, my son, for showing me that I could be different," and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool. The worst part about this is I hate the fact that they've changed that stuff with the Kinesis, because I really like that power. It was so cool. And I like the fact that he said one of the coolest lines in the movie. He said, "A savior's been born. One who has the power to save the innocent from people like Frieza and you," right? Bardock kind of realized he wasn't that different from Frieza, because he was doing like some terrible stuff, some horrible things with no remorse, right? And then flash forward, even in Z, right, when the Goku fights Frieza, Frieza actually remembered Bardock, right? When he fights Goku, Vegeta says, "Kakarot, finally nice of you to join us." And Frieza says, "Kakarot, but that's a Saiyan name, isn't it?" And then he remembers Bardock because he looks identical to Goku, right? And for Frieza to remember a Saiyan is actually a big feat, because let's be real, Frieza killed so many people, he probably doesn't remember like 99.9% of them, right? But Goku didn't really care, so whatever. But I genuinely speaking, for all the dumb stuff Super has done, this is by far the worst stuff they ever did in that show. I don't like that Broly stuff either. Like and comment if I should do the Broly one next, because they killed his character too, in my opinion. But this one was the worst one. Bardock was such a cool savage with a cool, not backstory, but with a cool story, and the power with the Kinesis and stuff, him being able to see the future for a brief, short period, for him to see his doom and stuff, him kind of changing in that short period of time, and him realizing he was a bad person-ish. It was so cool. And now in Super, he's just Superman 2.0, like he's Superman's dad 2.0. He's just a good guy that sent Goku back to save him. It's so boring, right? They stripped him of his whole personality. And the worst part is, he doesn't even have the red bandana anymore. He's not even a blood anymore. He's not even so whoop. When I saw that he wasn't even a gangbanging blood anymore, that he's not the big homie, I started crying. Wallah billah. You know how sad I was? And spoilers, but it's like minor spoilers. It's not that important. In the manga, right? In that granola arc, I really liked that arc, but I didn't like the fact that they made Bardock some hero again, right? It was so cringy. Bardock saved some random kid there from the evil people. Like, it was so boring. Like, just because, let me say this, and I'll say this a million times, just because they make a character like a better human being or nicer or more kind-hearted, it doesn't make the character any better, by the way. So that's not, just because they make a character kinder, like I said, doesn't make the character better. In Super, he doesn't have any personality. He's just Goku's dad. The thing that was so cool with Bardock, he was Bardock. Now he's just Goku 2.0. He even looks like him. He's Goku with a scar. He's a nice guy that saved kids from colonization, and he saved his son and blah blah blah. In Z, he was so cool because he was a savage and he had some depth to him. Now he's just, like I said, he's just Goku with a scar. It's so boring. I don't know why they changed that character that was so... Bardock was so loved, they even made a fan-made movie of him turning Super Saiyan. Like, everybody loved Bardock. Why did they even change that? I don't get it. But anyways, that's about it for the video, to be honest. Like, comment, subscribe for the algorithm, because I'm trying to get out the trap. Walla Villa. But anyways, I'm gone, hey.